Beth, how's the break been?
Yeah, pretty good. I think there's some tired and sore bodies today, sort of back into it the last couple of days. We've been back on deck for about 3 weeks now, and obviously this is the first couple of days we've been back as a whole squad. So the break was good and very much needed for a few of us. I think by the end of last season we were pretty cooked, so it was good timing for that break, and I think everyone sort of got away and had a bit of a refresher.
And I'm sure it was a pretty important break given how hectic the schedule has come up.
Yeah, definitely. We spoke about that at the end of last year, making sure that we got the most out of that 6 weeks off, and with the knowledge that this coming year would be even busier. So I think the next sort of 12 months we're away somewhere between 150 and 200 days. So it was really vital that those 6 weeks gave everyone what they needed and what they deserved.
Did you do anything special in your time off? Is there any particular hobby you sunk your teeth into or anything like that?
I'm a bit of a avid cyclist sometimes. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the bike, but it was actually just really nice to be at home. If you talk to any of the girls at the moment, it's almost a novelty for us to spend a consistent chunk at home. So if you ask a few of them, they probably just did that and didn't pack a bag or check into a plane flight or check into a hotel room. So just sort of getting away from that side of the lifestyle that we live, and spending consistent time with our family and friends is something that we all looked forward to, and most of us did.
Is there any that wouldn't have been able to resist picking up a cricket bat or anything like that?
Oh, I'd probably put my money on someone like a Healy and a Perry and people like that. But I definitely didn't touch my kit bag. It was sort of locked away and for good reason. So I was looking forward to coming back when the 6 weeks ended and using some new sticks and getting back into it. So that was nice too.
Where is home for you now? Harvey Bay still? Or?
Now Brisbane,
Yeah.
full-time Brisbane.
Yeah.
So I've been here for nearly 7 years. This is my 7th year in Brisbane. So it's not a bad spot to call home when I can train on turf in winter and be out in the sunshine all year round.
What's how's the mindset changed now that there's so much cricket? Like when you would have started your career, you would have been jumping at the chance to play, but now you probably have to manage your workload a bit more. Is that a big change in your career, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll probably see a bit more of that moving forward as well in terms of domestic cricket and sort of Premier cricket and things like that. It's going to be a big question mark around the season coming up in making sure that people get a break here and there where they can, given that the T20 World Cup's at the back end of the year this year. I think, it's still the same era where we're chomping at the bit to play games and get better and things like that, but in terms of managing workloads and I guess making sure people are mentally refreshed at all times is a big one too.
There's a lot of big goals in a short space of time, but you've got to make sure that you're not burnt out. Because what the World Cup, T20 World Cup would probably be, there'd be 4 or 5 trophies before that. Like, is that a concern at all that you stay up for it?
Not really. I think they've worked the calendar to make sure that in December we've sort of got a bit of a break from games, and it can be a sort of a training block or a bit of time off for us. So I think they've done the schedule really well for us and really thought about those big decisions in making sure they're catering for everyone. As I said, the T20 World Cup at the back end of the year will be a big challenge for us, but I think when that carrot is dangling at the end of the year, people will be pretty up and about for it.
It means there's a big Ashes series coming up. Bit of excitement amongst the group at the moment, obviously selection looming at the end of the camp, but how's the squad feeling ahead of that, which is probably one of the biggest series outside of the World Cup? Yeah,
I think the Ashes series is always a big one. We really look forward to that. It's almost as big as a one-day World Cup and things like that. So we've actually got some red ball practice up on the top oval today, which I think everyone's pretty excited about, and we've had a bit of banter flying around amongst the youngies and oldies, so I'm sure that'll come back out today. But it's a good vibe amongst the group. I've obviously only got half the squad here, but at the moment everyone's just really excited to be back and training with each other again.
And is there any of the youngsters, either from the National Performance Squad or the Aussie squad at the moment, or anyone that's coming up next week that you're tipping for a potentially big Ashes series?
Oh, I was pretty impressed watching Taylor Volemic bowl in the nets yesterday. I think she could be a dark horse for the Ashes squad. She looks like she's bowling a bit of gas, and I was pretty lucky that I didn't have to face her in the nets yesterday as my first hit against bowlers. So I think everyone's looks pretty good. We're pretty much 6 weeks off isn't a long time for us, but it looks like everyone's sort of picked up where they left off, which makes our jobs a lot easier once we get over there.
How pumped are you to play a test match again, or play a test match? It's been a while.
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, there's a few games before then, but hopefully I get a chance to wear the baggy green again. It's a pretty special thing to be able to do as Australian cricketers in this day and age. So the fact that we don't do it as often as we'd like means that it means a bit more to us, and it's something that we get really excited about.
The next few months is almost unprecedented for cricket fans. Usually we don't see a lot of cricket this time of year, but the men have got their World Cup and the Ashes, and you've got cricket coming up as well. It's pretty good for cricket fans, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be a really good test to see where the public's at with the cricket space. They've thrown a lot of support out. I came and watched the one-day games that were here as warm-ups for the World Cup, and there was a whole host of people out here who were just really thriving off having cricket here in May, which I think is a really good sign for the future of Australian cricket, showing that the public is right behind us and really making sure that they're supporting us along the way.
Yeah, so you guys are red hot favourites for the Ashes, winning the last couple in the form the Aussie team's been in, but I think some of the English, some of their own, are trying to call out their own team. Do you think that they're genuine fears from some of those legends that the Aussies can't be beaten, or are they trying to spark something in their own team?
Who knows why people say things sometimes. It's a bit of banter, maybe, a bit of just getting in the back of people's heads, but I think obviously men or women playing in English conditions is a big challenge for us as Australian players, so both Ashes series will be a really big spectacle for cricket across the globe, because it's always a hard-fought contest for the men and the women. So, for us it'll just be about making sure that we're conditioned to adapt as much as possible along the way, and hopefully get one up on them as early as possible.
The women's Ashes series obviously combines all three formats, whereas the men's is a 5-test series. Do the women like playing that variety of formats, or would you like to see it move towards like more of a test series?
That's a great question. I think we're open to any ideas. I think anything that would involve more test cricket would be a massive bonus for us as international cricketers, whether it's against England, India or Sri Lanka or South Africa. So I think once more countries get on board, we might actually see a bit more of the multi-format series across the nations. So hopefully that means moving forward the Ashes series for the women could be 3 tests instead of just one in the middle of a multi-format. But at the moment, I think in terms of selling the game for women's cricket, I think the multi-format is probably what's working. They get a lot of bums on seats over in England and market it really well, and as we saw in the Ashes here last time, Cricket Australia and the Australian public marketed ours really well. So if we can get that support over there, then hopefully in maybe 5 years it'll be a full-blown test series.